There was a point in time in life where I wanted to be just like Drake. Nowadays, I hope I never end up like him. When Drake dropped on the scene back in 2009, for me, he stood for something, at least in my young 11-year-old mind. Drake was a fish out of water, right? In a game that was mostly dominated by gangster rappers, hard personas, Drake had a softer, more introspective side. And he was very nice at his craft. And he's still very nice at his craft. I can't even front. But for me at the time, Drake pushed something that was genuine. Be yourself. Be true to yourself. It's okay to feel things. I know I sound like a hoe right now, but you know what I'm saying? I know some people gon' read this title, click on this video, go straight to the comment section and be like, oh, you don't want to have buddy hoes? Shut your bitch ass up, nigga. Of course I do. That's what I'm getting at. I don't want my whole worth, my whole self-value to be surrounded by money, hoes, chains, numbers, blah, blah, blah. I just feel like at some point you lose yourself. Drake to me is Homelander of the rap game. If you watch The Boys, you know Homelander is the most powerful soup in the show, but he's severely insecure, lacking, always looking for validation and attention and admiration. And at some point, as a grown ass man, I feel like that just drags you down, pulls you further away from your purpose. Right? I can even see that shit in myself. I was going hard when I started this YouTube channel, but after I see a couple videos go up and I get no views, no comments, no likes, I started to doubt my ability, my talents, you know what I'm saying? And I started tweaking, right? I started making some videos that I thought would just give me some views and attention. And, you know, they got me a little bit of views and attention, but at the end of the day, man, that feeling is vapid, right? I'd rather be a man of substance. And I feel like Drake used to be a man of substance, but nowadays he's just, for lack of a better term, selling out. He's doing whatever he can to stay on top, to get that attention, man. And whether you like it or not, man, one day you will be dethroned. I know the old heads look at Jordan like he's the greatest basketball player that ever lived, but in doing that, they don't recognize that LeBron James is here. And I'm sorry, man. No matter how you cut this cake, bro, LeBron is better than Jordan. and then I know it's some guys in my age group right now who grew up watching LeBron, who Bron was everything, man. Bron did the impossible. And guess what? Bron is a great player, but eventually there will be somebody that's better than Bron. Hell, it might be Wemby. You know what I'm saying? We got Wemby now, right? I feel like knowing when to exit, right? Going out gracefully is very important. And I think Drake lost somewhere in his militant studies, blah, blah, blah. I feel like he missed that lesson because this is a 40-year-old man still rapping like he's in his early 20s. I listen to his shit now and I be like, bro, you're grown. How you not realize this? You got like a decade over me, man. How do you not peep this? And I think it reflects on the people who are at stands, you know? If you look at somebody like DJ Academics, man, DJ Academics is very successful, very talented, very entertaining. I can't take that away from him. Very intelligent, but he does not act this fucking age, right? I swear to God, man, you know what Drake reminds me of? One of them niggas that they talk about that's 40-something in the club still, bro. Still chasing that youthful, you know, that youthful feeling. I don't know, something you didn't get when you was younger. And I can relate to Drake in a lot of ways, which is why I even liked his music growing up, right? When I was younger, I wasn't too smooth with the ladies, obviously. I didn't get too much respect. You know, I felt like I was doubted. I was overlooked for whatever reason. And when I listen to songs like Forever, that was one of the first songs I heard from Drake, Forever, right? The energy, man, that chip on the shoulder, you can feel it. It was something honorable, man. You can tell that people were doubting him or looking down on him because he was just simply being himself, right? In a world full of killers, this guy is the champagne sipping, emotionally introspective guy. And nobody was doing that at the time other than maybe Kanye, right? Kanye laid the blueprint for him. Cole, maybe, but he wasn't as big as Drake was at the time. You could say Kendrick, I guess, but I mean, Kendrick kind of still leaned into the gangster type of, you know, persona in a way. Not completely, but, you know, he was from Compton, so you feel me? And that's why I even started rapping myself, man. Drake inspired me to actually get in the booth, put pen to pad. He helped me become more of who I was at the time, not to be ashamed of who I was, right? It didn't matter that I wasn't toting guns, catching fades every day. I felt like that's what Drake stood for at the time, just being yourself. And I felt like that's why he was so successful, because not only did he have a good voice, not only could he rap, but he was authentically himself. He was a soft ass nigga, light skinned nigga, and he acted light skinned. To, you know, even to his detriment. People had jokes for him, but you couldn't deny the success. You couldn't deny that he was making hits. You couldn't deny that the nigga was nice, and he was nice being who he was, a Jewish nigga from the suburbs, taking over the rap game. Who would have known? From Canada, right? Nigga from Canada. But that's neither here nor there. I find it funny because once Drake dropped that Nothing Was the Same album, I really feel like nothing was the same for Drake. The sound changed, and I'm not knocking him for his sound change, but his substance changed along with the sound, right? Drake was always talking about money and hoes and bitches, but that was never the forefront of his music. I feel like it was so introspective. It was more of like, yeah, I got money, hoes, and bitches, but this is how I feel about it. This is how it's affecting me. This is how it affected my mental. I remember it was a point in time where I couldn't even, no bitches won't even give me no attention. You know what I'm saying? I ain't really have it like that. Now I do, and it's just like, man, it just don't hit like I thought it would. That was Drake, man. That's what people love Drake for. But as he got more success, more respect, man, I just feel like the nigga switched up on what he really was. He didn't grow. He didn't evolve. He stayed 25 forever. Nigga Drake probably think he's still 25. He got to the point where, well, honestly, I can't even say he got to a point because he never really took criticism well. The nigga was always deflecting, criticism. He didn't like people to go against him. He liked Yes Man. He was Homelander, bro. He's Homelander of the rap game. With all that talent, I still feel like you can fall off. And there's no question that even now Drake is still probably at the top of the game, man. No matter if you love him or hate him, when Drake drop, you're gonna listen to it. It's just that New Jersey Drake, that's the way it goes. He said that in the song, and that still holds true to this day. But listening to his music, man, a grown ass man saying, I'm gonna smack that ass, leave a cheetah print. I'm sorry, bro. I ain't hit 30 yet, but I don't want to hear that bullshit on my music. And I understand he was trying to make it for the club or whatever. And I hear some people saying, he was trying to get out of his deal, man. No, man, I don't want to hear that shit. And this is just my personal opinion. If you like that, please, by all means, bump it at full volume. But don't play that shit when I'm in the car, because I ain't gonna lie, I'm blowing the car up. We both dying. Everybody gone. But that's neither here nor there. I feel like Drake just somewhere along the way let his insecurities get the best of him. And when I say I hope I never be like Drake, I have plans of being something bigger than what I am right now. I have plans of having money, hoes, and fame, but I don't want to let that dictate who I am. I don't want to lose. I don't want to have to have the baddest bitch in the game to feel like I'm validated as a man, or everybody got to know my shit to feel I'm valuable as a person, or my bank account got to look like this to feel like I'm actually succeeding in life. I'm actually doing something with myself. Yes, granted, I want to have it for different reasons, but I never want that to be I never want that to be who I look at myself as, right? So if my bank account hits zero, I still want to be planning up. You know what I'm saying? I still want to be up. I still want to feel like I'm up. Whether I got the baddest bitch or my bitch mid, bro, I still want to be the person that I am. I don't want that to affect my confidence, my self-value, my self-worth. And when I look at Drake, man, it's sad because I used to look up to this guy. I mean, now that I'm a little bit older, I can form opinions for myself. I could go against the grain. I don't just take everything everybody say as word. I look at Drake and I shake my head, not in disgust, not in shame, but just I feel sad for Drake, bro. Because mentally, I know you can see it. Like it's oozing in his music, it's oozing in what he does on social media. The nigga is insecure, and you at the top of the world. You got a multi-million-dollar home, right? Nigga, I'm looking at fucking $2,000 of rent and like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? You can get any bitch you want, bro. Excuse me for calling him a bitch, but you can get any bitch you want, bro. Nigga, you post your fingernails on Instagram, nigga, that shit going for $1 million. You got the power. How much more do you need? How much more validation do you need? You got niggas falling down behind you, just like Homelander, that anything you say, they'll validate it, man. They'll say you're the best, you're the GOAT. Nigga, you could have farted on that mic and use it as a snare drum. Niggas gonna be like, you're a genius. You know? Just off the muscle, Drake. You got grown niggas, grown ass men dressing up like you, cosplaying as you, copying your mannerisms, body language, all of that shit, bro. But yet it's not enough. And I feel like once you go down that road, is a very dark road, and you end up in some places like Diddy ended up. And then I ain't saying Drake gonna turn to Diddy, you know, that's not what I'm saying, but I'm just saying the rabbit hole gets deep, bro. You know, when you don't have a limit, when enough isn't enough, it's just like, where do you stop? You know, where are we going with this, right? You got to consider that. I just feel like you got to consider that. And yeah, I think that's really all I got to say about Drake. I just hope I stay introspective. I just hope I stay self-aware. Don't get me wrong. I want the money, hoes, the cars, and the clothes. Suppose. I just want to be successful. Yeah, I want that, but I don't want to lose myself in chasing that. In other words, if I got to rock a skirt to be that, I don't want it. If I got to play this persona to be that, I don't want it. You know what I'm saying? If I can't just come on the mic and be myself And of course, there's some bullshit that come with it. There's some things that you do have to conform to, which I'm cool with. If that means I gotta make silly ass thumbnails, I'm cool with making silly ass thumbnails. I enjoy it for the most part. If I gotta structure the way I speak, hey, I just look at it as I'm getting better at delivering a message, right? But at the core, I still want to be not even relatable, but I want to be true to myself. I want to be able to look in the mirror when I go to sleep at night. I don't want to lay down and think I can't believe I did that, or got to convince myself what I did was the right thing because look at what I got. I feel like once I get to that point, I lost the plot completely. It's not even worth it. And I can see that happening in Drizzy Drake right now. So, man, that's really all